Yesterday we started the demo, right? So we discussed yesterday about the DevOps. So what is DevOps? Why DevOps? Right? So if you didn't join yesterday, so please please start the class recording. Okay, yesterday's class recording from the management. Okay, so let's continue. So today, so we have discussed yesterday. So this course we will discuss into four modules. One is Linux, shell scripting, DevOps, and AWS. Okay, so yeah, so we will learn, right? So we will learn this course within 2 months. Okay, within 2 months. So right, from Monday to Friday. Okay, so yeah. So anyway, let's continue. Yeah. So let me discuss about DevOps once again. So before that, who are newly joined, this is Raju. So I have around 8 years of experience into DevOps and AWS, and also I'm into trainings from past 8 years. So into the various corporate trainings and college level and institute level. Okay, so and I started as a Linux admin, and then I'm working for AWS and DevOps. Okay, so that's about something about me. Okay, so yeah, so yesterday we discussed like what is DevOps, right? So as I told you, right? So DevOps is nothing but a single. It's not a single tool. It's a combination of tools, right? Development with, we're calling it as development with operations. Development with operations. We're calling development with operations, right? So you don't need to develop anything. You don't need to operate anything. You have to work, or you have to collaborate with development teams and operation teams, right? So that's what yesterday we discussed. So DevOps, you're going to learn here around 10 major tools I will teach you. Okay, and AWS around 15 major services. Let's understand what is AWS, right? So yesterday we have seen only the full form. So what is AWS, right? So AWS is nothing but Amazon Web Services. Amazon Web Services, right? So Amazon Web Services. Okay, so what is this Amazon Web Services, right? So I would say AWS is a cloud service provider. AWS is one of the cloud service provider. Cloud service provider. So what is this cloud service provider? What is this? What is this cloud service? What it is providing, right? So it's nothing but, so for example, consider a application. Consider a application. For example, we have a application called, right, uh, country delight. We have an application called country delight application. Okay, so we have an application called country delight. Consider this is country delight application server. Okay, so for example, if you want to manage this country delight application server, like for example, country delight is a uh, is nothing but the platform for where the milk products, right, will be shared, right, will be sold there, right? So country delight. So country delight having their servers, their country delight application is running. So people are accessing from outside. But if candidate want to run this application, they need to take one room, right? They need to keep their servers. They need to maintain some AC, right? They need to maintain some security, right? They have to purchase some infrastructure, right? They have to pay some salaries, right? And they have to pay some internet bill, current bill, right? Room rent. If they want to maintain, if the country really want to maintain all these, their applications are their servers, their application, everything. So for example, if they want to maintain, they need to pay room rent for keeping these two servers, right? And they have to pay current bill every month. They have to pay salaries, right? They have to pay internet bill, right? Internet bill and infrastructure level bill, maintenance, right? So all this comes into the picture, right? For example, if whatever the reason this country related having some issues, they're unable to do the good business. They are unable to do the good business, right? So at that time, what right at that time, so what will be the use case, right? What country rate makes into this uh, to make a good profit instead of going into losses, right? So, what will be the good idea here? The cloud service providers. So, there are a few cloud service providers in the market: AWS, Azure, GCP. So what is this? So these cloud service providers are saying that you no need to worry. You no need to worry if you are not able to do the business. You no need to maintain all these. You need to pay all these bills. Okay. So for example, so country delight normally people are connecting 100 users. Are connecting usually 100 users. Okay, 100 users. So what happens suddenly? It becomes to zero, whatever the reason. Okay, so they're unable to do the business. So they cannot they cannot now remove the servers. They cannot remove the employees suddenly, right? All this cannot be happen. At least they want to save some things. So these cloud service providers are saying that you don't need to pay the room rent, you don't need to pay the current bills, you don't need to pay the uh, infrastructure related bills. So we have our own data centers. We have our own data centers. So if you see AWS data centers, okay, they're saying that we have our own data centers. So data centers look like this. Their servers will be exist like this. The internet bill, right? The current bill, everything maintained by them. Okay, if you see, so they have their own data centers. So if you want to install the application, you can connect to the AWS data center. There you can create two servers like this. This is AWS related. Okay, and you can install your application by connecting, continue to and connect to it. And they are saying that one rule called pay as you go pricing. That means if you are unable to use the server, right, you can simply delete. If you're not having any business, you can delete it. For example, after one day, if you realize you are not having good business, you can delete it. So you can pay only one day bill. For example, after 1 month you realized that, so you can delete after 1 month. So then you don't need to pay. Then you only need to pay one day bill, right? Or you can pay only one month bill. So that means pay as you go pricing. That means how much you have used, that much only you can pay. If you use it for one day, you can pay only one day bill. Pay as you go price. How much you have used, that much only you can pay, right? That much only you can. So for doing all this, to connecting to all these, right, if you want to connect to AWS data center, you need to connect to AWS account. You need to connect AWS account. So you need to create a AWS account. So I will connect to mine. So you have to connect to aws.amazon.com. You have to connect to aws.amazon.com. So here you have an option called sign in. You need to click on sign in if you want to connect to AWS account. Okay, so yeah, I already connected. This is one of my one of my students' account. So I already connected to one of the account. It's directly connected. Okay. If I let me sign out, I will show you again how to connect. So I already connected. That's why it is directly connected. Okay. Anyway, let me reconnect again. Right. So you have to go to aws.amazon.com first thing, and then you need to click on sign in. You have to connect to the account. Okay. Here, if you have an account, if you want to create a server in AWS, right? Or if you want to create a network, if you want to create a storage, right? So there are different there are different fields are there, different services provided by this AWS. You can not only create a server, you can create a storage, you can create a network, right? So you can have a database. If you want to create a gaming application, AI related, artificial intelligence, we can do that. So there are a lot of features in AWS data centers. We can connect to the AWS data centers, right? So from your AWS account, consider this is AWS account. So people can connect to the AWS account. Okay, from the AWS account, they can connect to AWS data centers. You see, so once you connect, once you click on sign in, you need to provide the username. Let me provide the username. Then you need to provide the password. If you have an account, do all this. If you are not having, you need to click on create new AWS account. I will show that. Okay, so let me click on sign in. Let me provide the password. I can click on sign in. Right, this is AWS account. Okay, so here if you see, there are different locations, like that means there are different data centers. Data center is nothing but collection of systems. Okay, different places there are, right, where AWS account exists, right? I mean AWS servers are exist. You can connect to it, you can create a servers. For example, North California. So this is the North California data center. They provided some name, US West 1. Okay, so here if you have, you can see these different services. Okay, if you are coming from database background, use these database services. If you are coming from machine learning background, use these machine learning services. If you are coming from satellite background, you can use these satellite services. If you are coming from storage background, use these storage services, right? So you have different, right? You have different services to follow. Okay, so you have, for example, if you are coming right, if you are coming from DevOps background, right? So you have some compute services like EC2. You can use this. You have this networking services as well. Okay, you have networking and content. So here you can see VPC is one of the important networking service. Most of the interview questions comes from this. We'll have the good amount of sessions on VPC. Okay, so yeah. So anyway, if you want to create a server, you can use one of the service called EC2. Okay, EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud. EC2 is one of the servers. You can click on EC2. So using this service, as I told you, you can create a server where you can connect to the server and you can install some application there. Okay, so let me show you. So you don't have to worry. Okay, we'll see EC2 classes separated to three classes. So if you want to create a server in AWS, you can click on launch instance. So how we are, if you want to purchase a lab server, if you want to purchase a laptop, how we are going to a showroom, how you are asking, I want uh, 12 GB RAM, I want 1 TB hard disk, right? You will ask, right, and you will ask, I want Windows operating system, right? Windows OS, right? And at the end, you will set up your username and password, right? So in the similar cases, right? So in the same case, right? Similar like that. So In AWS also, if you want to create a EC2 instance, right? So EC2 server, so you can click on launch instance. So here you have a number of servers, how many number of servers you want to create, you can mention, and number of, right, name and tag, right? If you want to provide a server name is Raju server, for example, or any name, for example, uh, Shiva server. Okay, just a name. Okay, it's just a name, and application, right? AM. So which AMI you want to create? That means which operating system. I want Windows operating system. I can select Windows. In Windows, I can select whatever I want. Whatever I want, I can select, right? And 2022. Number of servers, one. I want only one server, right? Are you getting right? So if you, right, if you have any question, just let me know. Right, you can text me meanwhile if you want, or we can, you can wait for a end. You can discuss about doubts. Okay, but yeah. So please be concentrate. So I'm just selecting. Okay, so no need to worry. You'll have separate sessions. Easy to, just for a demo purpose. I'm showing. If you want Windows server, select Windows. Select Windows. So and then if you want 1 GB RAM, hard disk, right, RAM, if you want 2 GB RAM, if you want 4 GB RAM, so this account is free for 2 months with some conditions. So you can feel free to practice here by creating a AWS account. Okay, so this is 1 GB RAM and this is password. So AWS is free for you for creating only 1 GB RAM servers. Okay, you don't need to worry about it. You can feel free to practice. You can feel free to learn in AWS, right? So keep it. Keep it is nothing but the password. Keep it is nothing but the password. So I want to use the existing password. Okay. Okay, so if you want to create a new password, just click on here. You can create one password file also. Okay, by creating this, providing the name Siva, right, and create, right, and network we'll use as it is. Okay, we'll see separate network classes, and this is storage. This is storage, hard disk. Okay, so configure storage. I want C drive of 30 GB. Okay, if you want 50, you can mention 50. That's it. If you want to create a server, launch it. Right. So this is the password shiva.p and this is the password file. Right. If you see view all servers, Windows servers. So for creating the server, right, I have used EC2 is one of the service. You can store, right, you can create a additional disk also like D drive, E drive by using some volume service. Okay, so you can create a backup of the disks by using some snapshot service. Okay, so you can use uh, load balancer service for balancing the load between systems. You can use auto scaling is one of the service. Okay, so I will teach around 15 major services. Okay, so like EC2, volume, snapshot, load balancer, auto scaling. If your server is down, I want notification. I will explain SNS if this server is down, right? Whatever the reason it is down, right? The people need to get a email notification. So how to set up that email notification, we'll discuss. And we have CloudWatch, right? So we have SNS, we have CloudWatch, right? And we, right, database like RDS. So you can see there is a database service RDS. Okay, here you can create your database. If you want MySQL database, Oracle database, you have the option to create. This is create a database. MySQL, Postgres, Oracle, MariaDB, right? So these are all databases. Okay, so you can select, you can utilize it. If you want 100 GB database, 200 GB database, right? We have that option. Okay, so all right. So anyway, Yeah, so RDS is one of the database service I will teach here, and right, and you will see some Route 53 is one of the uh, service which helps for like for example your application is running with the www.clouddevops.com, right? So how this will be happening in the market, right? What is the background process? Some Route 53 service. Okay, your server is running here, application is here. How both are interlinked? Using some RDS. So are you using some Route 53? Okay, so we'll discuss Route 53. Okay, so and we'll discuss some cloud formation. Okay, so and along with that, few major services like IAM, S3 for storage services. Okay, you'll see CLI command line interface using commands how you can manage AWS. Not only GUI, you can use some commands also to manage the AWS by using this command shell. This is a command shell. Okay, so this will be look like this. So using this cloud shell, you can run the commands and you can manage your AWS services. Okay. Anyway, and few anyway, our server is ready. Let's wait. We can connect to it. Meanwhile, let me note down the services names. We'll see VPC is very important. Like virtual private cloud. Will see. Okay, and we'll see the NAT network address translation. So these are the 15 major services we'll cover, okay, in this course, along with 10 DevOps tools, Linux and AWS, which makes you right easily crack the interview, and you can easily crack up to 5 years jobs. Okay, with this training, with this training you can easily crack up to 5 years jobs. So you can right. So if you want to just note down, I will give some 2 to 3 minutes. Just note down. Let me put down in the chart. Okay. I hope you have written this in chart. Just see, right? So EC2 volumes, snapshots, load balancers, right? And AMIs as well. Okay. So Amazon machine images, okay, load balancers, right? So right? So and SNS, CloudWatch, RDS, Route 53, right? Cloud Formation, IAM, S3, CLI, VPC, right? AMI, NAT, right? So these are the major services which we are covering in this course. For doing all this, what you need? For doing all this, what you required? You required a EC2 echo, right? EC2 instance. For EC2 instance, you need to create a AWS account. So how to create a AWS account? So let's see that. Okay, same process. Let me open this. Okay, aws.amazon.com. You have to click on it. So later I will show you how to connect to this AWS server. Okay, let me create first. Let me show you how to create AWS account. You need to go to aws.amazon.com. If you want, just note it down. aws.amazon.com, right? And you need to click on create an AWS account. Create an AWS account. Okay, so which is very important and mandatory thing. So use today's time and create your AWS account. Okay, so then provide your email address. Then provide your email address. For example, Raj DevOps 323 at the rate gmail.com. Okay, and you need to confirm your account name, because here if you see account name is this, right, Gayatri something. So you can see the account name here for easy identification. Okay, something you can DevOps. Okay, so you can verify. Once you click on verify, you will get a OTP. Just confirm that OTP. Just confirm that OTP number. So once you confirmed, right? Once you confirmed, so the next step you need to provide, right? Once you go to aws.amazon.com, right? So once you go to aws.amazon.com, you have the option, right? You can click on sign in. Here also you can see the option create a new AWS account, right? So you need to provide the email address, okay, and you will get a OTP, right? You need to provide that OTP. So for doing all this, I have one document. Let me provide the document. So we have AWS creation step-by-step document. Use this document to create your AWS account. Right. Right. Once you provided the username and once you provided the account name, right? What account you want to use, right? So after that, just click on verify the email address. Let me provide this URL with you. Right. Share our chart. So yes. So once you provide the verify email address, right? So once you got a OTP, just confirm it. The very next step, they will ask you about your personal information. Okay, for sign up. So like you need to select personal or business, which type of account it is. Okay, so just select that account type. I want to go with a personal account and the full name. I need to provide a full name K21. This is something like your name, right? The phone number you need to provide, country details you need to provide, right? Address you need to provide, right? City from where you are, state, postal code, and continue. Just click on continue, right? And the very next step, you need to provide your bank account details, like your card details. So for creating AWS account, you need the email ID, right? And you need the credit card or debit card. So and AWS will deduct 2 rupees from your account. They will not deduct any more extra. So they will deduct 2 rupees, okay, for the confirmation. Okay. So once you provide your account credit card or debit card number, right, and expiration date and CVV, right, and just confirm it. And just confirm it. And the very next step, they will deduct like the 2 rupees from your account. Once the 2 rupees is deducted, you will get a you need to confirm your mobile number also. Just confirm. You need to provide your mobile number. You will get a OTP. Once you confirm that OTP also, right? So what will happen? Your account will be ready. So, but you need to select the plan, which plan you want to go. So, if you want to go to free plan, or if you want to go to, right, if you want to go to free plan, or if you want to go to developer plan, right, if you want to go to business plan. So, there are majorly three plans. So, let's go with free plan, like basic plan. Let's go with basic plan. Okay. So, this basic plan, right, this basic plan is, right, so you can utilize, right, for free. Okay, other, like if you see developer plan is $29 per month and this is $100 per month. So I want to use this free. That means if you select free, once you click on complete sign up, AWS will take 30 minutes to activate. 30 minutes to activate your. Once 30 minutes is completed, right, once 30 minutes is completed, right, so you can use that account, you can connect to your account and you can create your things in the AWS, right? So anyway, so let's go for this. So let me close this. My I created one server, right? How I created, I just clicked on I just go to one of the EC2 service, and there I created a server, Windows server. I went to this instances section, server section, instances section. I just clicked on launch instance, right? I put the name server, like Siva server or any name, and then I selected the AMI, like operating system. If I want Red Hat, if I want Windows, I selected. If I want one number of servers or one, I can select it. If I want two servers, I can select like this, right? And in Windows, if I want 2000 19 operating system, I can go for 19. If I want 2016 server, I can go for this, right? And 1 GB RAM server. This is hard disk. The RAM size, this is free available. So whatever your account is created, that is free tier account. Free tier account. So this is free for up to 1 year. Up to 1 year it is free, but some conditions. If you see, 1 GB RAM server only free tier eligible. That means you can create and you can practice. So other than that, right? Other than that, if you want to go to 2 GB RAM server, right? If you want to go to 4 GB RAM server, right? You need to, right? You need to pay some money. Okay, let's go with 1 GB RAM server. Okay, and keypair is nothing but your password. I want to use existing password, right? Or if I want to create a new one, I can create a new one for connecting purpose. Okay, this is hard disk. So basically, it is start with 30 GB C drive. If you want 50, or if you want minimum 30, you should maintain. Okay, so 100. If you want 150, you can change whatever you want. Okay, so you have that option. Finally, you need to click on launch. Anyway, let me cancel because I have this server. Let me connect to this, right? So I created a server in AWS. This is AWS server in AWS. If I want to connect, right? So you have an option. You can select the server, click on connect. How you will select? This is the option. You have to click on this symbol. Okay. So once you click on it, once you click on connect option, here you have an option called RDP client. So you created a Windows server. Okay. If you want to connect to the Windows server, you need to connect to the RDP client. RDP is one of the protocol actually. If you want to connect, you need to connect to RDP client. If you want to connect to a Linux server, you need to connect to a SSH client. This is for Linux. SSH is one of the protocol. We'll call it as 22 port number. RDP port number is 338. This is one of the very good, very important question for interview. Okay, so RDP remote desktop SSH secure shell. Secure shell, and this is remote desktop. Call it as remote desktop. This is SSH secure shell. Secure shell. Okay, so anyway, so if you want to connect, this is your server, right? Select your server, as I said, select it, click on connect, right? And go to RDP client, right? And here you need to download that download that desktop file. You need to click on it, right? Download remote desktop file. Just save it. This is the Shiva server file. You need to connect to it. Open this file. So whenever you are opening for this first time, you have an option. Just click on connect. Here you need to provide your username. Username is administrator. And what is the password? I said password is this file, temp file, right? And username is administrator. And this is the option where you can get a password. Just click on it. If you want to get a password, you need to upload that shiva.pem file. Okay, just click on upload and select that file. Open. And decrypt. Decrypt means you will get a password. This is the password. This is the password. Just copy the password, right? And paste here. Right? You can click on yes. It is connecting. You can see it is connecting. It is AWS server, right? You can see it is connecting. Right? So let me cancel this. So this is my Windows server. Let me rename like Shiva server Windows. Okay. There is a pencil symbol here. You need to select that and you need to edit. Okay. So this is the Windows server which is ready, right? Which is ready. Right? It is connected. So let's wait because it's a 1 GB RAM. It will take some time to load. Okay, once it is loaded, we can connect easily if it is reloaded, right? So this is the server which is running in AWS, right? So this is AWS. So you selected 50 GB. Let's see whether it says 50 GB C drive there or not, right? You can see this is around 50 GB total size. Within that 50 GB, 35 GB is free because remaining 15 GB is operating system files. Remaining 15 GB is operating system files. So anyway, if you want to create a Linux server, you can click on launch instances. So number of servers are one, right? So this is uh, Linux server, right? In Linux, there are different types. In Windows only we have Windows type, but Linux having different types. Ubuntu Linux, Red Hat Linux. These are operating systems. You need to select if you want. Okay, you can select, and where you are creating this server, you are creating in North California data center. This is AWS. There are a lot of data centers. You can see AWS infrastructure. You can see global infrastructure. AWS is having data centers in 32 places. To create a servers, right? So I'm going to create a Red Hat Linux. Where I'm creating? North Carolina. So what are the different data centers? This is a global map. Here you can see AWS having data centers in Sydney, AWS having data centers in Melbourne, right? So AWS having data centers in right Canada, North California, right, North Virginia, right, Ohio, right. In India we have data centers in Mumbai, in Hyderabad we have data center, right. So Seoul, these are all data centers. Okay, if you see, consider Sydney. Sydney is a data center where three available data centers are there. Availability zones. Three data centers. You see, so this is Sydney, for example. In Sydney, three availability zones means three data centers like this. Okay, each data center having minimum distance of 100 kilometers. Okay, 100, minimum 100. Okay, why? Because for high availability of application. For example, you have running your application here, here, here. If any one of the region this server is down, customers still they can connect the application here because here power cut is happen, but the distance is minimum 100 kilometers. That means here can be power will be there, or if any earthquake is happen here, still we have server running here, right? So availability zones which makes your server highly available. Okay, highly available. Okay, so we have availability zones and we have regions. So the Hyderabad is a region where three availability zones like available data centers are there. Okay, Mumbai same when it is released 2000, when it is launched established 2016, right? Cape Town, right, 2020, right, three, right. So Cape Town, right, and Beijing, right, three availability zones, and uh, Inxia and Osaka, right, and Tokyo, right, and right. So different places. So if you want to create a Linux server, you can select whatever Linux you want, right, and provide the name, right. Number of servers are one, right, and instance type. I want 1 GB RAM, one server, and I want to use the existing password, Siva password, and I want to use hard disk 10 GB. So this is Linux server 10 GB is fine. Okay, how we have C drive minimum 30 GB, and if it is a Linux minimum 10 GB is fine. If you want 100, you can select 100. Okay, launch. So here you are creating a Linux server as well. This is a Windows server of AWS, right? And everything you can see will be IDs. This is ID for the Windows server. If you see Linux server, this is a Linux server ID, and you can see all the details. For example, here you can see this is a Siva server Windows, right? The details of the server here. What is the IP? Public IP. and what is private IP. The server is in running state, right? And this is networking details. Here you can see security details. 338. Why 338 port number? Because it's a Windows server. If it is Windows, 338 port 9 should be there. You can see. If it is a Linux, in security you have to see 22 ports should be open. That's why 20. AWS by default opening because for connecting. If you want to connect to a Linux server, just select it, click on connect. You have SSH client. This is one option. There is another option is to instance connect. This is also another option. You can click on connect. You can click on connect. It will redirect to a Linux server connected. Yeah, and everyone mostly knows that Linux will be a command line interface where you will run some commands. So this is some wizard where you will run commands. We'll see Linux classes, good amount of Linux classes to know the Linux commands or Linux operating system in coming days. Okay, so once AWS is completed, we will go for Linux. Okay, one by one. Right. So anyway, Linux server, right? And this is, for example, if you don't want, as I said, if you don't want any server, if you're not having business, you can delete it. Or if you're not using, you can stop it also. How to stop a Linux server? Just select it, go to instance state. You have an option to stop. You have an option to stop. If you click on stop, you can see it is running state, right? Now it become stopping state. Okay, we'll see EC2 from tomorrow. Okay, we'll discuss EC2. Okay, so you can see your server is in stopping state. That means you don't need to pay any money to AWS. You don't need to pay any money to AWS. Okay, stop. Right, which is in stopping state. For example, if you don't want this Windows server, you can go to instance state, you can stop. For example, if you don't want permanently, you expected that this client will not come again, so you can delete, right? How you can delete it? You can select it, you can go to instance state, you can have an option terminate. Terminate is the option to delete it. Okay, for example, I stopped this, I want this server again. You have an option, select the server, go to instance state, and you have an option start. You have this option to start the server. Okay, so you can start it and you can utilize it like this. You can start. Okay, so right, so we have, right, created a Windows server, we have created a Linux server. If you don't want, you can delete like this, you can terminate like this. You can go to state and terminate. Both are getting deleted. If you see, this window also closed. Why? Because the server is not there. That's why it is closed. Windows server. Right? So that's about the account creation. That's about the account creation. You have to create a AWS account, right? By following these steps I provided, right? So use those steps. This one, okay. Create a AWS account. Don't share your credentials with anyone, okay? Right? This is account creation, right? Document. You can follow this document and create a AWS account by tomorrow itself. Okay, so and this Saturday also we have a session. Okay, so continuous 4 sessions. Okay, free 4 sessions. Okay, so yeah, so this is about the account creation. So we'll see EC2 class, the very important service EC2 will start from tomorrow. Okay, so as today we have seen only the server creation. For example, I have a C drive, Windows C drive, but I want additional drive called D drive. How to attach it for Windows Server and Linux server? We'll see tomorrow. And I want to, I install some application. I want to uh, make this as one operating system file. How to make it as operating system file? So if in future if you want to create a same application, you can copy from this. How to make it as an operating system file, we will see that. Okay, so let's have some doubt session before closing this. So let's have it. Any questions or any doubts to continue? So we'll see EC2 tomorrow. Okay. Any doubts or any questions? Yeah, if you are not having doubts, so we can quit for today, guys. Thank you. We'll meet tomorrow.